A very good afternoon and welcome to NTV at 1. My name is Ken Mijungu and I have a quick news update for you on what's happening from across the country. And of course, we are live from several locations, but we'll pick two for this afternoon, Parliament and the DCI headquarters. Before I introduce them, let's talk about Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mijungu, who's currently being grilled at the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters. That's along Kiambu Road. His devolution counterpart, Eugene Wamalwa, was questioned earlier for close to 2 hours over the alleged 21 billion shilling dam scandal. Seth Olale now joins us live from Kiambu Road, just next to Karura. Let's talk to Seth. Seth, good afternoon. And of course, we saw the CS speak live, but just give us the highlights of some of the things that the CS has talked about and why he was summoned.
Good afternoon, Ken Mijungu. Actually, the CS for Agriculture, Mijungu, just left the DCI headquarters just minutes ago, and he did indicate that the grilling took only 32 minutes in contrast to maybe what we are used to. Remember, previously, the CS for Treasury, Henry Rotich, was grilled for over 24 hours. That took 2 days. But for CS Mijungu, it was just a matter of 32 minutes for him to be questioned in regards to what he knows about the 21 billion dam scandal. Of course, we're talking about the Aror and the Kimorel dams that are yet to be constructed, yet the government has paid over 20 billion shillings, and he said that he's going to cooperate further with the investigators. He did not arrive at this particular place without any lawyer. In fact, he drove himself here at the DCI headquarters. And what he didn't mention also, Ken, was that his image has been dented, and he said that his career has been severely damaged over the last 7 months, and that those who are standing and those behind this, he will soon give an answer to that. And he said that he's not deterred, he's focused, but he said that this is clearly malice and that he's not involved in any way. He's not an accounting officer at the Ministry of Agriculture. And Mijungu said that in as much as this has really dealt a severe blow to his career and to his life, he says that he's ready to, carry on with his duties at the Ministry of Agriculture. And like you mentioned earlier on, also we had the CS for Devolution, Eugene Wamalwa, did arrive. In fact, he arrived here at the DCI headquarters at 9 a.m. We're not very clear, we're not very sure if he arrived accompanied by a lawyer or not, because he did not speak to the media. But what we are informed is that that particular grilling took less than 1.5 hours here at the DCI headquarters, and he just left, being told by sources close to Devolution, the ministry, that actually he went to attend an official function on the outskirts of the capital. And so far, remember that these are just the 3 CSs, including the CS for Treasury, who have arrived here at the DCI. But let's just capture, or rather listen in to what CS Mijungu actually told us as soon as he arrived here at the DCI headquarters.
As a minister, to the referee of going to record a statement, they should have done their work, to ensure, first of all, they cushion your reputation. Because by the end of the day, every day for those 7 months, either I'm permanently in the media houses, main media houses, in the social media, I have been condemned. Every Kenyan is made to believe that I'm a prime suspect. We cannot say that media perception or public perception does not matter in our life. And therefore, it is important to note that what I'm going through definitely is creating permanent dents, permanent injury, permanent damage in my career and my reputation. And it will be left on me alone to try and clean up.
Right, that's the CS when he walked out of the DCI headquarters. Seth Olale will have a report for you at the end of the day. Let's move on now to the Parliament buildings where Vincent Oduor is. Education Cabinet Secretary, that's the nominee, Professor George Magoha, has vowed to deliver the new competence-based education curriculum and deliver the much-needed reforms in the education sector if his nomination as a Cabinet Secretary is approved. Professor Magoha said this during the vetting by the Parliamentary Committee on Appointments Our reporter Vincent Oduor followed the proceedings and now joins us live to give us the details. And Vincent, one of the things that I realized during that vetting exercise is the number of times that the professor said that he is willing not to be approved for that job if they will go against his principles. But there are a lot of other things. Tell us more.
Absolutely. The Education Cabinet Secretary nominee, Professor George Magoha, has just left after being vetted by the Committee on Appointments that is chaired by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi. And a lot of things have come up, and one of the things that the professor really insisted on, he assured the country that if he assumes the office, he is going to make sure that he delivers the new curriculum, competency-based curriculum 2663, because he's saying that it is a curriculum that has worked and has been able to be implemented in countries like Rwanda, just in East Africa, and he's saying that curriculum, Kenya needs it, and he's going to make sure that it is one of the things he's going to deliver. Another thing the professor talked about is he will ensure prudent financial management at the Ministry of Education, making sure that funds allocated for the education sector are properly used and they are not siphoned by people who normally use such opportunity to siphon public funds. Another thing that Magoha spoke about is ensuring that there is no child who will not be registered to sit for examination because of lack of birth certificates. Because, you know, right now the ministry introduced the use of NEMIS, whereby they register all students under NEMIS for them to be able to get that allocated amount of money that goes to schools. And some of them were not registered because of lack of birth certificates and delays of issuance of birth certificates. And he's saying once he assumes office, that will be history. He will make sure that no student or pupil is denied to register for examination because he doesn't have, doesn't have birth certificate. Therefore, these are some of the things that he has talked about, things to do with performance contract, things to do with the delocalization of teachers. He said this needs, consultation with the stakeholders so that they are packaged in a way that it can be acceptable among the stakeholders. And I can tell you, as Magoha assumes office, he's going to be confronted with several issues, things to do with quality education control, things to do with underfunding in schools and universities, things to do with delay of release of capitation money to schools, things to do with perennial strikes by teachers, 100% transition from primary to secondary schools. These are things that are going to really confront as he takes over. Therefore, earlier on, Magoha was before the Committee on Appointments, and these are some of stuff he talked about during the vetting.
In my view, even though I've not taken over the ministry, the youth bulge is a reality, and there is need for everybody to get involved. But I think the quick wins would be what we are doing at TVET. But you see, TVET only encourages children who are above 18. I think to put your mind at rest, Honorable Speaker, sir, these numbers are going to go down. They will go down from next year. Because when you look at our education system, it was all right from 1989 to about 1998 there. 89, there was only one A. People went to university, they did medicine, they passed. Now when you get to 98, 99, 2000, things went haywire, where people now are paying stakes for the letter. And by buying the letter, you push away the intelligent people in the periphery. So you find all people who had no money, who would have gotten B or B+ to go to medicine or engineering, even from the north, they were pushed aside.
Right, and Vincent Oduor will definitely have a summary of what was said during that period that lasted almost 3 hours before the Vetting and Approval Committee of the National Assembly. Let's move on now. And Hilary Mutyambai was nominated for the appointment of Inspector General of Police, adding yet another intelligence man to a high rank. Mutyambai is a policeman by training who rose through the ranks to his current position at the Anti-Terrorism Unit, where he was the director. Silas Apollo has the details.
When he was nominated by President Uhuru Kenyatta to take over from the outgoing Inspector General of Police Joseph Boynet, few knew who the new police boss is. Hilary Mutyambai is a trained police officer who joined the force in 1991, rising through the ranks to Superintendent of Police and later Director of Security Intelligence in 1998. It is at the intelligence unit that he continues to climb the ladder to become the Deputy Director of Counter-Terrorism at the National Intelligence Service. Besides the police force, he has also served at the Kenya High Commission in Kampala, Uganda as a political attaché from 2000 to 2004. Mutyambai has been described as a man with a vast experience on security matters, having undergone special training on counter-terrorism and advanced security in the United States, United Kingdom and Israel. If he is approved by Parliament, he will be in charge of the 100,000 personnel in the Kenya Police Service, Administration Police Service, Directorate of Criminal Investigations and the General Service Unit.
Now, Bomet Governor Dr. Joyce Laboso now says that the president should honor the agreement that places his deputy William Ruto next in line for succession. The governor says the deputy president has proved he is capable of delivering. The governor also called for speedy investigations into the cause of the Ethiopian Airlines plane crash that killed 157 people last Sunday.
Ni wakati tunatayarisha kuwekea kijana wetu mkubwa wetu William Samoei Ruto, tukijua kabisa ya kwamba hii ni wakati wake kulingana na ile kazi yote amefanya kwa Jubilee na kazi yenye amefanyia president wetu wenye tunampenda sana, na tunajua hata yeye anapenda Bomet na anajua ile kazi tulifanya. Yeye pia tunamwambia asante kwa kazi mzuri ile, kwa kutupenda, kwa ile kazi yote amelete huku upande wetu. Pia kabla sijaenda sana, nataka on behalf of the people of Bomet to say a very big pole, to send our sincere condolences to all the families, the 32 families from Kenya and all the 157 people that lost their lives in the Ethiopian airline. We say pole sana, and we are asking for a speedy investigation.
All right, let's take you now to Ethiopia, where families of the victims of the Ethiopian Airlines Flight ET302 crash have arrived in Addis Ababa, that's in Ethiopia, where they are expected to visit the crash site and hopefully identify the bodies and the remains of their loved ones. The media, both Kenyan and international, have also been denied the right to cover the developments at the airline's Skylight Hotel as management seeks to keep a tight lead on what's happening in Ethiopia. And confirmed reports indicate that the site has been sealed off, with the regular visit organized by the hotel being suspended until further notice. And our very own Charity is reporting from Ethiopia later on. Now, the United States has grounded Boeing 737 MAX aircraft over the safety concerns days after other countries halted use of the plane after the Ethiopian Airlines crash killed all the 157 passengers on board. While grounding the MAX aircraft operations, the U.S. Federal Aviation Authority noted that a newly refined satellite data and evidence led to that decision.
50 countries have since grounded the Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircrafts from operating in their airspaces following the flight ET302 crash just outside Addis Ababa, claiming 157 lives. And now the United States has joined in.
We're going to be issuing an emergency order of prohibition to ground all flights of the 737 MAX 8 and the 737 MAX 9 and planes associated with that line.
Minutes after Trump's announcement, the U.S. Federal Aviation Authority, FAA, ordered for the temporary grounding of the aircrafts, stating, and I quote, "The agency made this decision as a result of the data gathering process and new evidence collected at the site and analyzed," end of quote. The statement reads further, and I quote, "This evidence, together with newly refined satellite data available to FAA this morning, led to this decision," end of quote. Similarly, Boeing issued a statement which reads in part, and I quote, "Boeing has determined out of an abundance of caution to recommend to the FAA the temporary suspension of operations of the entire global fleet of 737 MAX aircraft," end of quote. Flight ET-302's black box will be analyzed in Paris as demand grows for urgent answers over the safety of the Boeing 737 MAX 8. Experts have pointed out similarities with a crash in October when an Indonesian Lion Air jet went down, killing 189 passengers and crew. Both planes reportedly experienced erratic steep climbs and descents as well as fluctuating airspeeds before crashing shortly after takeoff. On Thursday, Ethiopian Airlines flew families of the victims from Kenya who lost their loved ones in the ill-fated flight. Kenya lost 33 of its citizens in the Sunday morning crash.
All right, a middle-aged woman from Kawala, that's Ngugani village in Kitui, has been killed by a crocodile in Kiambere Dam, according to the residents. Kavinya Kilonzo was fetching water from the dam when the reptile attacked her, dragging her into the water.
Kanyiva Kilonzo lost her life at around 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Residents of Ngungani village claim a crocodile bit her left leg and dragged her into the water. The residents claim that this is not the first death caused by the crocodiles, as the dam is their only water source. They say they have also lost livestock to the crocodiles.
Sisi tukienda kwa maji ama mama akienda kwa maji, tunakuwa na raha wakati tutaona mama amerudi kwa sababu ya mamba ile iko hapo kwa hii mto.
Kitui's Chief Officer of Tourism Zakayo Kimanzi, who was at the scene, assured that the county government would help in the burial arrangements as they await more details from the Kenya Wildlife Service.
Pakona maji pia inatoka hapa, imechotwa na pipe inaenda Mwingi. Tunaenda kukonsult engineers wetu wa maji kama watu wanaweza kuwekewa tea ndio ikaenda hii town iko hapa karibu ndio wakaacha kutumia hii maji ya damu.
The residents are urging the government to intervene.
Kila wakati mtu amekufa, mara mtoto ameenda, mara ng'ombe imeenda, na hatuna utajiri wa kutosha huku. Utajiri yetu ni ng'ombe na kulima. Sasa ng'ombe zikienda zote siishi, tutapaitika na nini? Je, shirikali yetu mtuonee huruma na mtuangalie, mtutolee maji tuwe tunakunywa nje wa hii damu.
The residents had to cut up the crocodile and carried away the pieces for unknown reasons. Helen Manjohi, NTV.
Away from that, Murang'a County Commissioner Mohammed Bare has issued a stern warning to public service vehicle operators in Kigumo against recruiting Mungiki sect members in efforts to lock out their rivals. Speaking in a public baraza in Makomboki Market in Kigumo, Bare said the government will not allow Matatu Saccos to fund criminal activities for their own beneficial gain. He urged the youth not to be misled into joining the gangs. Instead, they should engage in productive and legal activities.
Watafute mgoda, watafute kushona majani chai na watafute kutengeneza kuku ya broiler. Hii mambo ya kula bure, ile serikali ya 97, 98, 2007 huko Kangema ambayo hiyo serikali bado iko. Labda wale walikuwa kwa ndio hawako maambiwe. Kanateko? Maero. Serikali ni ile?
Now, the 5 babies born yesterday in Kakamega County have now been admitted at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret after they all developed breathing problems. 28-year-old Evelyn Nakuhala made headlines yesterday when she delivered the 5 babies, but now the babies are in the intensive care unit as doctors work to save their lives. Helen Wenjoy has the details.
Miss Evelyn Namakula from Shisoke village in Navakolo sub-county gave birth to the quintuplets on Tuesday night through cesarean section, 2 of them being boys and 3 girls. Her husband Emmanuel Wanjala is deaf and a casual laborer in the village. Dr. Githinji Ndungu, one of the doctors who assisted her deliver the 5 children, said that this is the first time the county has delivered 5 children at a go.
Mama haswa wakati tumeongea na yeye unaweza dhibitisha kwamba ako na mimba ya watoto ambao ni mapacha. So kuna historia ya mapacha katika familia yake na hiyo imechangia yeye kuweza kupata mimba nyingine ambayo ni ya mapacha zaidi ya 2.
Kakamega County Health Executive Rachel Okumu, who visited the mother in the hospital, promised to enroll the family on a 1-year full premium of the National Hospital Insurance Fund.
The county will be able to pay the full premiums for her for the year. And maybe in future, because we know that the children have to grow, we'll put a system in place where she will continually be supported in that area.
Miss Evelyn does not intend on getting other children, as even back then the couple had their hands full, and is appealing to well-wishers to help her fend for her children.
Naomba serikali inisaidie kuchunga hawa watoto kwa sababu mimi peke yangu siwezi.
Helen Wanjohi, NTV.
Okay, we wish the babies a quick recovery even as they go through that process of healing. Let's go to Tarakaniti, where the Governor Muthomi Njuki has launched various machines at the Kadwana County headquarters that will be used to build and maintain roads. He added that due to the meager funds allocated to the county, the government was not able to maintain roads using contractors, but the acquisition of those machines would improve service delivery in the county.
Nataka kumwambia leo tukiwa Kadwana kwamba the Tarakaniti Roads and Infrastructure Department is an army. It is like Air Force One. Saa hii tukiamua wananchi wanasema wanataka barabara kutoka hapa mpaka kwa ile mlima inaitwa Mungoni pale. Inaitwa Mungoni. Tutaita hizo mashini zote umeona hapa. Grader 3. Excavator ya mara. Kuna ingine inaitwa dozer ambaye inabomoa milima, inabomoa miti, inabomoa manyumba. Tutaita ingine inaitwa excavator ya kutoa mara. Tulete ingine ya kumwaga maji. Na tulete ingine inaitwa roller ya kukanyanga barabara. Kwa hivyo tukisema barabara ni mbaya hapa, unatupatia wiki moja, ukirudi kutoka kutembea Nairobi, unapata iko barabara unafikiria umepotea.
From Tarakaniti to West Pokot, where the Governor John Lonyangapuo is appealing to the national government to send government surveyors to his county. The surveyors, they claim, can help them identify and determine the West Pokot and Turkana County borders that could help diffuse the resource-based tension between the 2 counties.
West Pokot Governor John Lonyangapuo is appealing to the government to survey and demarcate the border between West Pokot and Turkana along the Turkwell River, where insecurity has worsened.
President Uhuru Kenyatta na timu yako kuja weka border ya West Pokot na Turkana. Ijulikane ni wapi.
His appeal comes after more than 10 deaths were reported, property destroyed, and residents displaced in the area since the beginning of the year following conflict on the boundary. Lonyangapuo also called for the placement of security officers in areas that are prone to insecurity, such as Ombolion and Karon Kraals.
Nataka serikali kuu ichukue nafasi yake. Kwanza Boynet umepakishwa sijui na masaa ngapi kabla hujaretire. Please restore peace. Restore peace graciously.
In the most recent attack, 2 people were killed in Kolowa and more than 200 herds of cattle stolen on Tuesday. Anita Nkonge, NTV.
Right, let's go regionally now, where at least 10 people, among them children, have died after a 4-story building collapsed in Lagos. That's Nigeria yesterday. The children were attending a nursery and primary school on the top floor of the residential building when the structure came down. Now, police say they believe scores of other people are still trapped under the rubble.
Rescuers are working round the clock, trying to save people still trapped in the rubble of a 4-story building in Lagos, Nigeria. In the residential building was a school on the top floor that had more than 100 pupils. At least 10 people have died, and many more are feared trapped after the building collapsed in the morning hours of yesterday. About 40 pupils have been pulled out alive, but many worried parents at the scene were unable to find their children, while others went to a local hospital to look for theirs. Government officials in Lagos say the building had been identified as distressed and listed for demolition. In September 2014, 116 people died, 84 of them South Africans, when a 6-story building collapsed in Lagos where a televangelist was preaching. An inquiry found it had structural flaws and had been built illegally. 2 years later, at least 60 people were killed when the roof collapsed at a church in Uyo, the capital of Akwa Ibom State in the east of the country.
And to Brazil now, 2 assailants opened fire inside a school near Sao Paulo on Wednesday, killing 8 people, including 4 children, before turning their weapons on themselves. Authorities said the 2 assailants burst into the school grounds in the early morning, armed with a .38 caliber revolver and a medieval weapon that looked like bows and arrows. CCTV footage also showed the 2 assailants accessing the school before students started pouring into the streets. Around 15 others were injured in the shooting, which took place at the Raul Brazil Public School in Suzano, on the outskirts of Sao Paulo in the southeast Brazil. Sao Paulo State Governor Job Doria said 4 children and 2 members of staff were among those who were killed. All right, time now to look at some sports, and Brian Otwal is up next.
Let's have a look at the latest in sports, starting from the Magical Kenya Open. And hard-hitting Kenyan pro golfer Dismas Ndiza is having an excellent run in the opening round of the Magical Kenya Open, as he is currently tied in 5th place, having scored 5 birdies and 3 bogeys to stand in 2 under par after 17 holes at the Karen Country Club. Sean Kadavilis is in Karen with the day's highlights, and as we get to him, there are any updates do you have from us from Karen?
Yes, a very good afternoon to you, Brian, from the Karen Country Club, the Par 71 Karen Country Club, where the first round is underway of the 2019 Magical Kenya Open. This is the first ever time that a European Tour event has been held here. And I'll just move aside. This is what we're seeing at the moment, the practice putting green here. This is where the players, of course, are just getting used to what apparently is a very fast course. That's what I'm being told. But just to let you know, as you mentioned, Dismas Ndiza on 2 under, he has finished. We spoke to him and he's saying that he's very impressed with the level of the course, the preparations of the course. It is very, very fast, and that's how the players like it. And of course, it has been helped a little bit by the dry conditions, although we're told that the greens and of course the areas from where they tee off are in very, very good condition. So your leader at the moment on 5 under from Spain is Adri Arnaud, and then there are 3 on 4 under. So 5 under is the leading scorer at the moment, Adri Arnaud from France. 3 players on 4 under, and then we got Michael Hoey from England, who's on 3 under. And then we got Dismas and Disa, who's part of a group of 4 on 2 under. And then we got one Kenyan on 1 under, and that is David Odiambo, who's still out on the course at the moment. So this is the latest at the moment from the Karen Country Club. It looks absolutely brilliant, it has to be said. The first of 4 rounds. It is a par 71 course, and we'll get back to you, Brian, in the studio. It is, of course, Sean Carter-Villas with you at the Karen Country Club.
All right, thank you so much, Sean. We hope the Kenyan pros make it anywhere above the top 10 so that at least a Kenyan can win this for a first time. Moving on, Kenyan Premier League champions Gor Mahia will be hoping to rise to second place when they face Kakamega Homeboys in the midweek clash at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos. Gor dropped to 4th on 29 points with 4 games in hand after a win by Sofapaka, who rose to the top on 33 points. Homeboys lie 9th on 21 points. Meanwhile, coach Hassan Oktay has admitted that he will field a depleted squad as he will have to rest up to 10 first-team players with their eyes set on a must-win final Group D match of the CAF Confederation Cup against Petro Atletico of Angola on Sunday. A win for Gor Mahia in the fixture will earn them a ticket to the quarters of the competition for the first time in history. And Lionel Messi was in stunning form as Barcelona crushed Lyon 5-1 to reach the Champions League quarterfinals for a record 12th consecutive year. Meanwhile, 2 goals from Sadio Mane helped Liverpool beat Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena and reach the quarterfinals for the second successive season.
Penalty review is continuing.
Lionel Messi scored.
Women referees will handle games of the opposite sex following a directive from the Confederation of African Football CAF. The women will debut at the upcoming Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations scheduled for Tanzania next month. The development was reached at during the CAF Referees Committee held in Cairo, Egypt. Kenyan referee Mary Wanjiru Njoroge, who came second in the most improved assistant referee category at last season's gala, is among 14 assistant referees shortlisted for the assignment. 15 referees and 14 assistant referees from 25 member associations will undergo medical, physical and theoretical tests to select the conclusive list of match officials for the final tournament scheduled for 14th through to 28th April 2019 in Tanzania. And Roger Federer cruised past Britton Kyle Edmond at the Indian Wells round of 16 with a straight sets 6-1, 6-4 win in just over an hour of play. The world number 4 broke Edmond twice in the first set to storm to a 5-love lead before Edmond pulled a game back as the set finished 6-1. Federer will next face Poland's 22-year-old Herbert Hukaj, who knocked out names. You get them?
Yes, I get them through one ear and they get out through the other one.
That's so tough, eh?
At least I know the Gor Mahia players, you know, that's most important for me. Anyway, thanks, Brian. And thank you so much for watching NTV at 1. My name is Ken Mijungu. Have a good afternoon.